Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs, cats, kittens, anybody else who you have around, welcome to the Bob Doyle Show. I like that applause because that applause kind of sounds like a award show, you know, sort of. So, hi, everyone. You know, I'll tell you what's a little bit different about this particular episode of this program. One is that I have a guest today, which I like, and I would like to have more guests, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, because perhaps you could be a guest as well on this show. The other thing about this show is that, you know, I've been doing this podcast on and off. It used to be called Bob Doyle's Timeline, and now I'm calling it the Bob Doyle Show, and who knows what it's going to turn into eventually. I don't. I certainly don't. Perhaps you do. And if you do, you could let me know, because that would save everyone a lot of time. But in any case, it was just a sort of a sporadic thing. And a couple of weeks ago, I made the commitment that I'm going to be doing this live on a regular basis on Monday nights at 7. And then the very next week, I didn't do it. So, huge integrity issue, ladies and gentlemen, as you can imagine. But today, I decided, nope, 7 o'clock, I'm going to do it. And that's just all there is to it. And I won't come up with any more rhymes with "it" at this point. So I'm doing it. And as a result, I kind of put it out there, like on Facebook, and said, hey, I'm doing this. And I asked for likes on my page, you know, my Facebook page for this particular program, so I could change it, change the URL. I wish I could remember right now something at Uniform Resource Listing. I don't remember what URL stands for all of a sudden. Wow, I used to know that. In any case, posted on my Facebook page, or posted on Facebook to say, come get likes. And so now I got, some likes today, and which means that maybe I have a little bit of a bigger audience than normal. And because normally I just assume no one's listening. And this time I can assume that, well, who knows? Maybe one or two are listening. And should it change the dynamic? No, I don't think so. But there's just that awareness. This is a show that is broadcast both in video and audio form. If you're watching it live on the Google Hangout, that's great. I hope that everything works out okay. I'm trying a different camera setup. It's just, this is the thing about this show is it's this ever-evolving technological exploration. And I like to bring you in on the technical exploration, even though you may or may not care. This is my show, and I do what I want. So what is this show, for those of you who are new to it? That's also debatable. The show is basically me turning on the microphone and making noise with my mouth, mostly in the English language, and sometimes about things that might actually be, I don't want to say relevant, because I think that's overstating it. A little about me, just a little about me for those of you who are new. So I started my career in broadcasting 20-something years ago, maybe 30, I don't know, 19, anyway, a long time ago. And I always thought I wanted to be on the radio. That was my whole life. And then I got into radio, and I ended up in Atlanta, and I thought I was going to be like a DJ, spinning the tunes, stacks of wax. And then I ended up on the talk radio side. Really enjoyed it, but it didn't have the creative. I didn't have the creative freedom that I wanted to. So I actually walked away from radio and got into computers and things. And then, blah blah blah, law of attraction, The Secret, and my career completely changed. But broadcasting has always been something that I love to do. And years ago, I did it wasn't called a podcast back then. It was just seriously an internet radio show with my friend Rob Scott. We are bringing that show back to life, too, and that is called The Lounge Show, and that's another podcast that you'll see me talking about. And, of course, I do a podcast with Lynn Rose called Fun with Bob and Lynn, which will be airing tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Not right here. Hopefully right now you're at bobdoyleshow.com. It will be at funwithbobandlynn.com. You'll be hearing a little bit more about that, too, not to spoil too much of what's going on. So there is a way for you to participate in this program. If you are at the Fun with Bob and Lynn, I'm already jumping ahead, at the bobdoyleshow.com page, underneath this video or underneath the audio version of this, there's a link. It's a little clickable link for Skype. it may or may not work. Like, it doesn't work for me in Firefox, but it works for me in Google Chrome for whatever reason. But Bob Doyle Show is the Skype ID you would use if you wanted to join in on the conversation. Now, here's the thing. The show isn't developed enough for me to be, like, I'm not bringing up topics like, how about that politics? That's not what I do. Nor will I ever do it. And it's probably more appropriate to bring you in on calls and having conversation when we're actually talking about something in particular. And there may be, or if I have a guest and the guest is, evoking. Yeah, hold on. There's someone at the door. Yes? It's not your time. No, not yet. Go away. Okay. The thing about guests on this show is that they're so eager to come on that there's just no etiquette. We have a green room in there, but apparently we're understaffed, and now the guests are just wandering willy-nilly around the studio. And so it's a mess, obviously. People just walk in, knock on the door, do whatever they please, and so I apologize for that. We will be bringing our guest on in about 4 minutes or so, and wow, that'll be a lot of fun as well. So if I could just get back to what I wanted to talk about, whatever that was. I'm derailed. That's what happens when you knock on the door. Oh, I was talking about how to join the show. So Bob Doyle Show is the Skype ID you would use. Look up Bob Doyle Show, no spaces or anything like that, BOBDOYLESHOW, and then you could, in theory, contact the show and be a part of it live. Now, we've done this before. We know it works. What we don't have is people who are actually participating. Now, here's the other thing. Now, I know, because I am such a geek, I've got this show going out all over the place. It shows up on various pages. It shows up eventually on Facebook. It shows up on, of course, BobDoyleShow.com. It shows up on my Spreaker page. Spreaker is the audio technology that I'm using to broadcast this live. It's also showing up as a Google Hangout, both on YouTube somewhere and on the event page itself. So there are all these different places you could be seeing this. At the Spreaker page, there's a chat function, even though it's extremely hard to describe how to find it. But if you have it there, then that's a way that you could participate as well. I think there might be something at the Google Hangout page, There's probably comments on the blog post page. I have no idea. But I can tell you for sure that the best way to get in touch with me directly and interact and say anything about anything, even if it's just, hey, this works. Because that's kind of where I am at this point. Now that I'm putting it out there, it's like, well, is everything working? If in theory people call on Skype, are they going to have to do a contact request and then I'm going to have to approve it and then I can bring them on the show? How am I going to find out what they want to talk about? How do I do this smoothly? See, these are all the pressing questions of podcasting in today's society. Because ladies and gentlemen, I am just not content to pre-record a program and then upload it and then disperse it. No, I must take calls. I must be able to. It must be a live sort of interactive thing. And because I've made that decision, it's actually limiting me in some things. But I just have to stay true to my dream. Radio is a live medium. Yes, of course, most people are listening to this on a replay or some such. But the goal is to have a live audience who actually participates and actually loads up Skype, does the contact request search or whatever for Bob Doyle Show, makes the contact request. It shows up over here. I say yes. We bring you on. We have a conversation. If it's not boring, I let you talk. And if it's going nowhere, I figure out some polite thing to say to move on and go, wow, why did I decide to take calls? What was I thinking? These people aren't trained in broadcasting. They are not qualified. That's not true. You're very qualified. We're all qualified. In fact, we should all have podcasts. You, me, your neighbor, and we should all just call each other's podcasts all the time and just like make it this group, podcast. You with me? Okay. So it's about 9 minutes after the hour now. We're going to bring our guest on in just a minute. One of the things that I want to briefly mention is this show is broadcast live from Marina del Rey, California, the West Coast, the Pacific time zone. And yesterday, or this weekend, last weekend, whatever, was the whole daylight savings thing. I don't really think that much about it. I just go, yeah, it's that thing to do. But I'm originally from Atlanta, and I grew up in Atlanta, and the earliest it would get dark during daylight savings is probably somewhere between 5 and 5:30 or whatever. Here, now we're just starting out, so it's just the sun's going down a little after 5. But here, before it's all over, the sun's going down. It's getting dark at like 4:30 in the afternoon. That's pretty annoying. And the thing is that, if I was, I fall asleep when it's dark. That's basically, that's what I'm getting to. I mean, it's just when it gets dark, I get sleepy, and it doesn't matter what time it is. Anybody else like that? This would be a good thing to take calls on. Your whole opinion on daylight savings, wherever you are in the country or the world. I don't know who else does this, but there's all these. Every time daylight savings happens, Facebook explodes with people with articles and opinions and how this is the biggest scam ever perpetrated on the American public. And our guest actually today will have something to say about that. And the only other little technical note I want to say before I bring on our guest is that on the and this is so ridiculously irrelevant to most people, and nobody cares. But you have to understand, see, we're in the process here with this show and all the other shows that I'm doing of making broadcast history. I mean, let's just face facts. This is what my whole life has been leading up to. Your life, everyone who's listening, everyone you'll ever tell, it's all about this moment. And so these early shows are the ones that, it's a little bumpy. We're trying new things. We don't really know. Maybe we have no plan. Maybe we sat around staring at the clock going, wow, I wish the show would start, even though I have nothing to talk about all day. Actually, we do have something to talk about because we have a guest. But until we get the interaction going with the whole call me thing. And look, by the way, if you're listening to this going, what is the point of this? Then number one, okay, so I get it. Oh, I have something else to share with you too, but I'm going to have to, maybe I'll do that when my guest is here. What is the point of a program like this where somebody's just talking? Well, you're right. Right now, it's just kind of like, unless you really just enjoy hearing me try to fill dead air, there's really not much there. Now, yes, once I know that we have a group of people who will actually, call in with Skype or whatever, we're actually probably going to get a Skype number so you can call on your phone and not have to be on Skype or whatever. But if you're watching this, you're on the computer, so just use Skype. What, you don't have Skype? Is that what you're telling me? When I was in radio, there was this whole concept of, especially talk radio, of begging for calls, where like it was dead and there was just nobody responding to the topic. Now, I know we don't have a topic, which makes it way, way harder to figure out a reason to call. But haven't I expressed right now that really all I care about is just somebody clicking that button and trying it, just so we can test and go, hey, you were the one. Congratulations. You were the first. Now, I've had guests with some of my other shows, but the Bob Doyle Show, certainly in its current form, have had no guest. Well, I mean, call-in guest. I'm about to have a guest. Well, why don't we just go to our guest right now? We'll bring her in, and we'll be with her for the remainder of the show, which is going to be about 15 minutes or so. And if you have an opinion about the, daylight savings thing, whatever, call. Oh, look at this. Someone, now see? You probably heard that little burp, so I'm going to accept. And now, Joanne, who has requested access to the program, or to this. Well, I just got a caller. I'll tell you what. Hang right there. Well, it's not an actual caller, but now that you have been accepted, Joanne, why don't you give us a call? We'll have a brief conversation. In the meantime, we will go ahead and bring on our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, this person is very near and dear to my heart and all my stuff. Her name is Lynn Rose, and let's bring her out right now. I love the award show clapping. I love it, and I fade out the music so that then it just seems like you're about to make an acceptance speech. Okay, so Joanne says, "Hello, see it works. Thank you, Joanne. If you'd like to,
she's on
Skype. She's on Skype. Somebody actually listened to and followed the directions. So now now that we have a guest, I have to kind of finagle the microphone a little bit.
She takes priority.
And I get if she calls, she's on. That's
your show,
that's
baby.
all there is to it. Okay, so you did bring a headset.
Where do I go as far as being able to hear?
I wasn't really planning on
Hold on one moment.
on having Len do a headset, but
if you have a caller, right?
Well, she's there. She just hasn't said.
But I mean, if you have a caller, I have to have a headphone
That's
to hear.
correct. You're right. See, this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is.
I'm really smart.
Mm-hmm. That's why we have her on the show.
I can add 2 + 2.
All right, can you hear something?
Suddenly
All right.
No, I don't.
So yeah, we're both a little off mic. This isn't the best mic to be doing in this way. But so, ladies and gentlemen,
I don't hear anything. By the way,
that's
Is there supposed to be something to hear?
Just you a little bit.
I've got it now. I'm holding my mic without pressing it in.
You sure it's not in?
If I press it in,
there.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, I see.
It's all right. I hear now. All good.
I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, because if we can't be honest with each other, then what kind of relationship is this?
Then why
Am I right?
Oh.
Hey, we got a call. Hold on just one moment.
It's Joanne calling in.
Joanne?
Hello.
Hi. First of all, congratulations for being the very first caller to this program. Are you there?
You stunned her.
Letting
her know she was the first.
So
caller.
overwhelmed with the congratulations that you're speechless. Is that what's happening here?
It might
Joanne.
be a delay.
No. Oh, yes, I forgot the whole turn your radio down thing.
Oh, hang on
Yeah, that's my bad, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot the instructions. Once you get connected, you're going to have to turn down everything else that you can just hear on Skype because there is a delay, a little bit of a delay in both.
Joanne.
In both the.
Got it.
Yeah. That's right.
Disconnected from. I clicked on your website.
Yep.
Bob. Yep. I just closed that window.
All right. Awesome.
Hey.
But be sure to go back to it when we're done here.
Absolutely. I'll reconnect.
So, Joanne, tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you to the show today?
Well, I'm a huge fan of you guys. Absolutely love your work and your various programs, doing the You Awake and your meditations. I'm just up the road. I'm in Sunset Beach, California.
Awesome. I don't know where that is yet. I'm still not geographically acclimated. I know our little area, and then I have to go to GPS.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, especially out here with our traffic, huh?
Yeah, loving that traffic. Not so much. I'm from Atlanta, and they have bad traffic out there too. But being a work-at-home entrepreneur, I rarely got out into it. But since I've come out to California and then hooked up with this one here. I'm like going places all the time.
Don't you love that? This one. Yeah. Hot Atlanta.
Hi.
Yeah, so how are you loving California?
You said it right there. I'm loving California. We got some rain this week, which was a nice little throwback to being in Atlanta, which is very rare here. It never rains here, and then it did. So I guess never isn't really the right word, is it? It just very, very rarely. So, Joanne, did you do something for Halloween?
I watched all my grandkids.
Grandchildren?
I do. I have identical twin 4-year-old grandchildren that live in Seal Beach, and they were adorable.
Aww.
Yeah, they had a grand time.
And they were all dressed up and all that?
Yeah, I saw all your scary pictures.
Yes. Which ones? The scarecrow ones or the zombie ones?
The zombie ones.
Yeah, I know.
Very, very cute.
Lynn hates those. She hates them. She doesn't get the whole, exploring the dark side thing.
Yeah, I don't do the cool thing myself either. Yeah.
You'd think a thought leader like myself would know better than to put those types of thoughts and images in my brain, wouldn't you?
Exactly. If you only had a brain.
And thus the scarecrow. Right.
Oh, very cute.
Anywho.
Well, I have to join your vote. We have another vote for Boo on losing daylight savings time because when it gets dark, I become a shut-in.
Right.
And, I love the sunlight and being outdoors. And you're so right. Between 4 and 4:30, it's like, oh my God, it's time to wash my face and brush my teeth and get ready for bed.
I know. I am so biologically programmed like that. And again, this is another thing Lynn's not a big fan of. because I can't psych myself through it. It's like if the sun goes down, my eyes get heavy, and I'm like, it takes everything I got to push through it. I'm hoping, now it's the beginning of it. We've just started it. I'm hoping I'll, eventually grow out of this, but she's just as frustrated with the whole thing.
Oh, I'm so frustrated with it. I'm glad you're on the team, Joanne, because it's not even just about extending the sunlight. It's the fact that it was, it's antiquated. It's not needed for what it was originally done for back in the day, which because the technology changed so many decades ago, and we're still following this antiquated system that's actually costing hundreds of millions of dollars every year in productivity, in accidents, and things that, it's just crazy. And I personally can't stand it because I like light when it's lasting late into the night. And like you, I'm very affected by light and sunshine. And my clock thinks it's now time to go to sleep when it gets dark. Oh, hi, it's us. We're now seeing ourselves. I wasn't seeing it.
Now look who's pointing out the technology. You of all people. I'm just trying to produce a technically darn fine program here. And that part of that means looking at our picture every now and then, making sure we're still broadcasting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited about the show, you guys. Can you give us a little insight of, do you know what the show's really going to be about or how it's going to evolve?
Well, so there's several shows. As I said at the beginning, there's this show, which is just my show, and I'm letting Lynn on for probably the last time ever. No, I'm kidding. No, it's because we have something to talk about. But it's normally just me doing my thing.
We never have anything to talk about.
And then I have another. So we have Fun with Bob and Lynn, which will be tomorrow at 7. But so there's two different shows, but they're both kind of the same in the fact that it's just really just conversation. Now, a lot of times we do, because of our exciting, amazing lives, we have things to talk about from time to time.
All the time.
And so that's what we do. And then on my show, I do it just my way, without Lynn saying I'm making fun of her. That's the biggest difference between the two shows, is I get to say whatever I want without her saying, stop making fun of me. Is that accurate?
But it's really talking about everyday life, from the mundane to the, oh my God, and just kind of sharing about that and diving in like we are right now, or were, about daylight savings time versus standard time.
But we do actually have some plans for the evolution of the show in terms of bringing on more guests and things like that, and especially when we're doing the hangout version where you can see them. And we know a lot of really cool people up to a lot of really cool stuff, and even aside from what they're up to, they're just really fun people just to talk to. And that's pretty much what the show would be about, is just bringing them on so that you can get to know them as just people rather than, trying to sell their stuff or whatever.
Oh, I think that's so exciting, especially with everything that's going on, and being able to it would be interesting to, my thought was, first of all, it's exciting that you're going to have guests on, but with so much shifting and to hear how that's impacting our lives and business and just throughout the world, I think it would be exciting to hear those conversations and be able to have people interact with that.
Thank you. We definitely do that. I mean, most of the time our show is silly, but every now and then we'll go down a path and we'll really get on a subject, and we'll use, what we know from our years in doing what we do in the transformation industry, and the things that we know, and the tools that we have access to, all of that. And we'll have a quote unquote serious show.
Well, I call it funny banter with an inspirational twist.
That's what she calls it.
Love that. Yeah.
So that's what it is. I mean, we just have funny banter, get silly, but we always find like some metaphor in life that just naturally comes up because it's just who we are, what we love.
Always may be overstating it.
At some point in the show, it happens.
Where's the dog?
Yeah, it's just beautiful when you tap into that inspiration that's always there,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Joanne, thank you so much for calling. That was awesome, and I will always remember you as the first person to call my own show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations to you.
Well, thank you, Joanne. We'll talk soon.
Alrighty.
Bye, Joanne.
There you go. See, was that so hard?
That was fantastic.
All right.
Yay. Love
now,
Joanne.
see, ladies and gentlemen.
She was great. You let her talk, too. So obviously,
of course.
She cut the mustard.
Yes,
she passed muster.
Proverbial whatever, yes.
Passed muster.
She passed muster. You see, this is my show, and she's trying to do her Lynn thing. This is exactly why I have my own show.
Where you can have your cell phone go off in the middle of it.
All right. You know,
You asked me on as a
I know
guest.
I did, and I'm questioning that now. No, I'm not really. So, Lynn, why don't you...
Make sure we're looking okay. I am a woman.
This is so crazed. No.
Okay, fine.
She wants to see herself on
We
the
see
camera.
nothing. We don't have a monitor.
Well,
but
we
there
do.
is that potential.
All
if
right,
he clicks
fine.
the
You
right
know
button.
what? There. Wow, do we look fabulous?
You do.
And look right here. This, now that I've shown my hand here, we're not
controls.
even using it. But oh, Bob and Lynn, you're so funny. Okay, so actually there is a reason why you're here besides just that you live here.
Now he's going to spring it on me.
You know, that's the other thing. I saw you post that. I have no idea what he's going to throw at me. Of course you do.
I know one thing. I
Well,
don't
that's
know what
all.
else you
That's
have
it.
Planned. Oh,
That's
okay.
it. I
Go.
mean, in theory, we have 5 minutes left, but we
Yeah.
can go a little bit longer
Hey.
because I'm the boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have at it.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Boys and girls.
if you in fact follow me or Lynn or both on Facebook, you are very well aware of the retreat that we have coming up in January for going to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. And we are getting more and more excited about it. And but we're also realizing that we're getting now to the point where we're getting close enough to January that pretty soon the
cost will go up.
The cost of
because
this
airfares.
Yes.
Well, you were trying to find how to say it. So I was like,
We rehearsed this over and over. And so I guess we just wanted to have a conversation, sort of a last minute, entice you into this before it goes up. Now, you're still welcome. I mean, we've got until, I don't know when.
the next couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, and it might even be a week before Thanksgiving before the price will go up. We've got to find out. We're in touch with our travel coordinators. But one of the things we love about Punta Cana and the whole offer we're putting out there for people is because we know what worked for us. We know what made the difference. And we also knew if we could just provide a package where everything is taken care of. The travel, the transfers, the hotel, the VIP status, the food, the liquor, the adventures, the transformation. We cover all of that. Then you think of nothing else but just showing up.
That's right.
And so we thought, let's make sure we make that package that way. And yet so price it to where it's like a no-brainer. Even my friends who are really cheap with money, when they saw how much it was, just looking.
My friends who are really cheap with
Well,
money.
they are. They looked at the price and they're like, oh my gosh, without all the extras that we give. And
We always do that. Everything we do together, we always underprice it, and then our
and then eventually raise it.
yeah.
So right now is a really good time to
That's
dive
right.
in
Well, we
because
don't
it
know
will
what
go
we're
up
doing.
and up and up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just in a nutshell, then, why don't you tell them what this is all about? Because what if they've never heard about it? What if for some reason they somehow have not seen
They're like,
your
"What are
8
you
million
talking about?"
posts a day?
All right. Well,
with our
Punta Cana,
pictures.
the reason is because it comes from such an authentic, amazing passion and joy. So PuntaCanaPlay.com. Bob and I knew long ago at some point we wanted to bring people with us on an adventure somewhere in the world where we embrace play, we embrace transformation and how we step into the vision of our lives from a whole new space and place, and have us together in a small, intimate group creating that. But we also, this was this past September, we knew we needed a vacation, and we came across, by accident, we saw Punta Cana come up in this little package of deals that we're going through, and we said, oh, wow. We went to go check it, and that particular one was not right. We did so much research. Finally, we landed on what seemed to be the best. It had TripAdvisor Award of Excellence 2013, really well priced. So we left all over that, and we went away in September and had the most amazing adventure. Amazing adventure. And
So
time.
amazing, in fact, that before we were even having the adventure, she was talking about how we were going to bring people to have the adventure again. Like we didn't even do everything yet. But before Lynn's like, oh, we're so coming back here with winning people.
I know. Literally, I got there and I almost wanted to just cry. I could not believe the beauty of the
So
beach.
I pinched her
and
really hard, and then she
then
just
I
went.
really
Then she
cried.
just did it.
No, but the beauty of the beach and the place and the people and healing. And I mean, it was stunning every step of the way. Our private VIP bungalow with this, raised bed area and living room and what do you call that? A mini bar and refrigerator and jacuzzi tub.
Restocked daily.
And shower. Yeah. I mean, 24-hour room service, all-inclusive food and alcohol, and 7 or 9 different restaurants, and a huge international buffet. You could just eat there every night and be fine and happy. It just blew my mind but mostly the energy of that place, because I felt like I came alive. I felt like I let go of so much, and then all this new life and new energy and new connecting to myself and my vision and what I wanted and clarity and space. So much opened up. I said, oh my gosh, I can't wait to share this with people.
Yeah, she said that many times, in fact. And so we came home, and immediately she was sharing it with people, and we worked out a deal, and we're just ready to go. We're ready to go. And it's January that we're talking about. So, I guess what we would invite you to do is just check out puntacanaplay.com. If a vacation sounds good, if you think it might be fun to hang out with a couple of knuckleheads who are in the transformation industry but want to give you your space to play and just, up for some adventure at one of the most beautiful beaches we have either one of us have ever been to. Water's warm but not hot, and it's just, it's just an amazing place to be. And you'll have 4 or 5 days there. 5 days, right?
5 days,
4 nights. And you can extend it, and we've got all sorts of information.
Oh, yeah. And we planned to take our chosen exclusive VIP 20 that we take back with us on the same excursions we went on. So on zip lining, on this dolphin adventure that was magical. And we actually changed. We wanted to swim with dolphins, and we changed where we went last minute, thank God, because we had the most incredible time. And so we knew we wanted to create this whole experience, recreate what we got to experience for this special 20. But it's not just bring them and have fun and play. We create space for you to do your own thing, but also really set the context of this being the reset button. You're going to kick off that new year. Kick it off in a way that honors you and honors what you want. Let's go of all the past. And now let's in whatever that vision is, because that's what that felt like for me. We had such a challenged 2 years, and we were all so wound
tumultuous,
up.
I think, is a good word.
Tumultuous. And we just I know I can speak for myself personally. I felt so much that I was just letting go of that had been riled up for so long. It just got released. And then the clarity on what I wanted, the clarity on what I was stepping into and who I am, re-honoring myself, and all this energy pouring in, and then coming back to my life with a new sense of play, with a new sense of taking on what I have to, not have to, but what I'm called to, because it's my heart. So that's the whole point. It's not just play. It's not just adventures. It's not just hang out with us. Have your own time, too, within this intentional context of play and reset button.
What I should have done is brought on a guest who had some sort of passion around this whole thing. Had something to say about it. Now, instead, it's like pulling teeth to get her to say a word about Punta Cana.
I really am passionate about it. I mean, clearly, because I could nonstop went through our photos and videos again and again.
Still does.
And it made me so happy knowing we're going to go back and bring 20 people with us. It literally has become just, my world.
I could not argue with any of that. It really has. But it's, as we get closer and people are jumping on board and all that, now it's really getting exciting because we're realizing we're going to have this great group. All right, I don't want to turn this too much into an extended commercial.
That's not a commercial. You want to share about it. Hey,
that's true.
Hey. You're wrapped up in my thing.
There's too many cords here. We were supposed to get...
And we didn't finish talking about Daylight Savings Time Standard Time.
Oh. Well, I
don't have to,
I think it's sad. It's... You hate it. That's pretty much it, and you're on the verge of a crusade.
No, I would love to be a crusader for the cause. Honest, especially after reading the article, all the more because it's been one of my hot buttons for years. But I also recognize, if you're going to be a crusader for a cause and spend that time and passion, there's even bigger things needing our attention, like the refugees, like the children in Africa, of which I'm very committed to, building villages and education and clean water and medical aid, etc. So that's where my give back focus and time. However, there was a way, and I'm thinking of a way to be able to be a crusader to make this change that we all need.
Isn't she lovely, ladies and gentlemen? Just all about helping people and transformation. Look at the smile on her face if you're on the Hangout. Look, there. See, there it is.
Not like he's partial or anything.
I'm a little partial. I admit it. But I still think she's a lovely person inside and out. And if I could quickly get to the applause, I'll just use this.
Yay!
That's kind of lackluster. So that's kind of lackluster applause.
Light applause.
Hold on. No. You deserve better than that.
Really?
Well, don't, look at... Here.
Okay, we'll take that. It's all good. Yeah. Screen. Yeah.
Just rock the house with some... Okay. So thank you, Lynn. And before we leave, I opened a loop earlier, and I was talking about this new thing I got that I wanted to share with you. It has nothing to do with anything we've talked about.
But he loves it. Talk about being passionate about
something. And I will say,
so
I learned about this technology from our good friend Rob Scott, master broadcaster Rob Scott, with whom I do the other show called The Lounge Show, and who will be visiting Lynn and I in December, hopefully. And then we'll have him on our show, and then we'll do our show and my show.
Of which our show is tomorrow night, Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
That's
Pacific.
Right. Same time, different place. FunWithBobandLynn.com.
We'll be unleashed.
If you
talking about Halloween and the costumes. So
that's right. If you are a griller, and who of us aren't?
It's a griller.
Perhaps you're frustrated with the inconsistent results you get with certain cuts of meat that come out a little tough and don't have the flavor you were hoping for.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if a simple device that you could easily use in just a few moments could take care of all of those problems?
Yes.
Where marinating could take minutes instead of hours.
Is that possible, Bob?
Where your food would actually cook faster than without this amazing device. And be melt in your mouth succulent.
Really? Would the juices be kept?
No, I'm sorry. There's no juices.
Lose all the juices.
This is total dry brick.
Oh,
but
got it.
No, I'm kidding. Of course, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it creates a juicy, tender piece of meat. And Rob Scott, master broadcaster, first told me about a device from a company called Jacquard. Jacquard, I think it's Jakkard or something like that. In any case, I didn't find that one. I was in our local Bed Bath & Beyond and found this.
Of which you don't see.
Which I don't see, but I know that you do. It's from the 0X0. And here's what it does.
XOXO.
Hold on, let's see if we can get some, let's see if it's the least bit focused. All right, yeah. So what this has is 50 really sharp little blades, like little tiny mini knives. If I move this down, you can see.
Good.
See? And now there's a safety locking mechanism, so that then I couldn't do that at all. So you unlock it, and then you just push this down on the meat, which puts these 50 little holes all through the chicken or the beef or whatever. I know it's dangerous.
That looks like a torture chamber device.
Well, it would be if I was to use it on your arm.
Yes.
All I can say is I've used it one time with some chicken yesterday, and it was delightful. And right now, even as we speak, one of the reasons we have to wrap this show up is I've got a flat iron steak, which sometimes is pretty tender by itself, but hit and miss, that I've done this to, and it's been marinating for about an hour and something, a couple hours maybe. And master broadcaster Rob Scott marinated a London broil, also traditionally a thicker, tougher cut of meat, with this. Only marinated it for an hour, I think, as opposed to the normal 8 he would do or overnight, and said it was just extraordinary. And again, London broil is... it's not the most tender meat, but he was thrilled. But today, we will find out how this works, and I will report back. But come on, just the concept. You gotta understand how great it would be to do that and put in marinade, and then just this 8 gazillion holes that it just fills in. Much better than just a fork or stabbing it with a knife, which is the way that I did it. This gives you a uniform thing, plus it sort of flattens the meat out a little bit. Absolutely excited about that.
Love it.
All right, folks. Well, here's the deal. We're going to end this now, and so that means I have to go find the right little console here, which will be a lot smoother.
Well, we get to say goodbye to Joanne, and thank you for calling in and your delightful show.
Hey, my show. I'll do the thanking around here. you get some guests in here and they just don't know the
women that just try to
boundaries.
control
And
things.
she's still talking. Okay. So thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for being here for it's not really the inaugural one, but there was a firstness about this particular episode, and first caller, first promotion of the Facebook page for likes, and got about 60 or so. There may be some waiting for me still. Yeah. I wanted 100 because that way I can change the address of the page. So if you're listening and you haven't liked the Facebook page yet, just figure out how to find it. I wish I could tell you. I'll put a link on the blog post when I'm done. And tune in tomorrow, of course, at 7 p.m. for Fun with Bob and Lynn, where it's like this, only Lynn talks more.
funwithbobandlynn.com.
Yeah, funwithbobandlynn.com.
50 other shows archived there.
You see what she's doing?
Well, it's not a first for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.